Welcome back to Idaho Century Arena, and we'll take a look at the keys to the game for Idaho. Rebound, defend the three, and toughness. Well, right now, Montana is winning that battle of the board 7-3, and the Lady Grizz can get hot from behind the three-point arc, and Coach Morera does not want that to happen. For the Lady Grizz, limit turnovers, offensive execution, and toughness. We talked to Coach Harris, who talked about containing penetration, contesting without fouling, good ball screen defense. The fundamentals for this Lady Grizz team, get those loose balls.
And right now, the Vandals having trouble inbounding the basketball. Just some great defense by the Lady Grizz in the early going. Shades of the Lady Grizz of the past. Fantastic pressure. Shot from the outside. One and done again with the Lady Grizz working the boards. Sarah Brands cannot knock it down for Idaho. Very active offense by Montana. Avery Waddington.
That's just great offense by Montana to give her room to make plays. She's so good off the bounce with that 6'3" agile frame. It's good offense for the Lady Grizz.
Drawing the foul. Idaho's Hope Hassman, who has been doing it all so far offensively for this team. Hassman, the sophomore, and as you mentioned, from Cal State Fullerton, she says she really connected with Arthur Morera and wanted to come to a place where she just felt a sense of comfort, which is amazing. Consider Morera had to regroup almost the entire team. When we talked to him, he said he had two players when Carrie Amy decided not to return and go to the University of South Dakota, and he had to rebuild the whole team. And Idaho did just that. Full court pressure.
Idaho trying to make it difficult for Montana to get into any type of offensive rhythm, and it's exactly what you want to do, is force that rushed off-balance shot by Adria Lincoln.
First time these two teams met, it was one of the lowest scoring performances for Montana in about 2 decades. Idaho had their number, but right now the Lady Grizz are just offensively got their number. Another penetration and another job by Avery Waddington.
You really like to see that, with that aggressiveness and attacking the rim.
Just a freshman, she was at 1,000-point scorer in high school at Lake City High School. She's out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. There's Olivia Nelson. 5th in the Big Sky in scoring. That's her first field goal. And you feel the Montana fans just go a little quiet.
Again, no one on the glass for Montana. It's one shot and we're going the other way.
Nelson traveling. Yeah, to your point, if they're going to shoot the threes, they've got to be there to board to catch the misses, and Idaho is really crashing the glass.
Well, and your hope is when you do have the 5-out offense, that a player like Danny Barge can really rely on her basketball IQ and that anticipation. The hard part is with the quick fire, you're out of rebounding position.
Really spreading the floor, and you take gambles when you do that you're going to be able to get the miss, and the Lady Grizz have not been able to do that. Coming right back at you is Idaho, and that is Jennifer Odland. Close the gap to 3 after a very hot Lady Grizz start.
3 misses for Adria Lincoln. And again, you just feel Montana on their heels on the defensive end with a very attack mindset Idaho team led by Olivia Nelson. Right there is what you do against this Lady Grizz team. They miss a few shots and they have a tendency to have some lapses on the defensive end.
Annabeth Beatrice Pasas checks in for Idaho. 5 players on the roster for Idaho are international, as Nelson, an 80% free throw shooter, inching ever so closely to tying this ball game.
Well, I sure loved when Coach Marrera was talking about all the competitions he has for his players, and that he posts based on percentages who the best shooter is, who the best rebounder is, and it is an absolute win or lose situation, and his players really look forward to seeing those posted players every week.
Matt Koenig checks back in. Adria Lincoln, do you think they have a competition for the brightest yellow sneakers?
Well, Idaho would win that hands down. Olivia Nelson. All of them, actually. They're all very bright, Tracy.
1 point ball game as Idaho's worked their way back in, as the Lady Grizz have cooled off. And Matt Koenig with the basketball. Koenig, boy, she is tough, but off the mark there. Nelson running the offense.
Those adjustments that Coach Marrera made in that timeout of just adding some defensive pressure, in Montana just losing their step and their edge. You know, basketball is such a game of momentum shifts.
Under a minute to go here in a very fast-paced first quarter. The second quarter final of Women's Big Sky Tournament basketball. The winner will play Northern Arizona University. Good dribble drive, penetrate, gets her own miss. Tournament call. Just running out of luck, ties it up, but she's playing well on the defensive end. That's what you like, to play both ends of the floor.
Climate McCall has a couple tough breaks at the basket, but comes back with the strong defensive play.
Couple more substitutions for Montana. Davy Schubert comes out with the final 30 seconds.
Montana gonna take their time.
Waddington, number 10 on the left. Climate Call on the right. Koenig with the basketball. Now they get into their offense. Koenig, the kick out. And the rebound, Idaho.
Welcome back to Idaho Central Arena. The Idaho Vandals going on a run, led by their big 3. Olivia Nelson, Hope Hassman, and Jennifer Odlin getting it done for Idaho offensively. Montana, however, has gone cold, 0 for 7.
You wonder if the Lady Grizz are going to adjust. Points in the paint, they are outscoring Idaho 14-4. It was working early, and then they opened it up.
They were attacking the rim with Avery Waddington and Matt Koenig. And you need to go back to what works.
Idaho on the offensive attack, weak side rebound. Montana, Tyler McClimate Call with the big board. And there they go in the paint, but a pushing foul before the ball put on the floor.
It's just such a nice take by Danny Barch, that long, athletic, agile frame.
Rosie,
if your shots aren't falling from the perimeter, you got to try to find another way, and attacking the basket.
Rosie Schweizer picks up the personal foul, and right on cue, Matt Koenig is listening.
9 early points for Matt Koenig.
And the defensive pressure really stepped up. MJ Bruno working on the ball handler. Nate Harris going to his bench early and often, again, to play this high pace type of offense and defense, some wholesale substitutions. Buckvick.
Idaho given room for Buffek to make plays.
Buffek, the Louisiana Tech transfer. Again, points in the paint. It's something the Lady Grizz are sticking to right now. That's Waddington.
It's just a great read to take it to the basket. She's got that added height and that quick first step.
They are really backing off the three-point lane. Shot clock at 11. Little bump, dribble, drive. Crashing the boards is Idaho. Wow, how did she thread the needle? Anna Beatrice Passos. Amazing work underneath.
She came out of nowhere and really strong play.
Out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. There's an open look for the Lady Grizz. There is very little quarter court going on right now. There's not a whole lot of standing around for either side as they rush to get into their offense, not using a lot of clock. Good putting the ball on the floor, weak side. Rebound, Idaho, and here they come. They are on the run. They've got a 2-on-1.
Boy, that is some transition offense for Idaho.
Beatrice Passos is starting to warm up. The 5'11" freshman out of Sao Paulo, Brazil.
She only averages about 3 points per game, already 2 very impactful baskets.
It's tournament time, Krista. She's notching it up.
For Montana, it's just one shot and up. You gotta get on the glass. It's hard when you play that 5-out basketball, but you've got to give yourself second chance opportunities.
Getting the good looks. Ella Urardi ran out of room.
Almost got that friendly bounce.
Montana lost both games, 63-50, 70-57. The last ones, as you mentioned, Krista, both of those games in January, just a couple weeks apart. Nate Harrison said, yeah, it's been a while since I've seen these guys, but we're going to work with our game plan, which is that 5-out kind of frenetic pace. And he said Waddington's got to be a key to that offense. She has the basketball. Now they look a little stagnant, and turnover for the Lady Grizz.
The Vandals go into the tournament 4-7 in their last 11 games.
Nelson cross-court pass. They're trying to get the 5-footers in the paint and losing a handle as they test the interior defense of Montana. Barsh going to work.
Just a nice read on early offense. Matt Coing sensing that Danny Barch had that post position and that seal down low.
Danny Barsh, a 93% free throw shooter. She's having one of her better offensive years. She was a preseason All Big Sky this year and wound up honorable mention. She has just been a stalwart.
She was a college sports communicators academic all-district, academic All Big Sky second team, and part of the inaugural All Big Sky team defensively last year.
And there is some of the pushing we've been seeing go on almost all game long on both ends, and Idaho's going to get whistled for the foul. Sarah Bronze was in a shoving match with Danny Barch. You can see they're still talking. And Bronze will come out. And Rosie Schweitzer, the graduate student, 6'1", graduate transfer from Pacific. Barch comes out. Isabella Zingaro comes in.
Izzy Zingaro, the transfer from Iowa State, has given Montana offense about 8 points a game. She gives a strong post presence, physicality.
And she just set a really nice screen for Matt Koenig. Boy, if the Lady Grizz can get those long rebounds, I think it's second and third shot opportunities, they are right back in this game because Nate Harris's team is definitely putting up the shots. They've already got 27 shots to the Lady Grizz compared to 21 for Idaho. Olivia Nelson up and under, rebound Idaho, and it's tipped. And a jump ball situation is going to go to Montana.
Well, Olivia Nelson just crafty. Avery Waddington bringing that ball down low. Olivia Nelson, one of the top players in the league. First team selection for a reason.
Montana, 21 NCAA tournaments, 24 conference champs, and they turn it over.
Just honored one of those special teams. The 1996 Lady Grizz team that finished 24-5 in Robin Selvig's 18th year. Lost to North Carolina State in the NCAA tournament.
Break in the action, Lady Grizz by 1. As we break it down, that's coming up courtside at the half. Idaho inbounding the basketball. Well, it's been neck and neck, 4:43 to go. What adjustments does Idaho need to kind of take control of this game, Krista?
Well, I think they've just been creeping their way back in and making good decisions and giving themselves second chance opportunities right here by rebounding the basketball. And you see Olivia Nelson making Montana pay. Right now the Lady Grizz are 1 from 11 from behind the three-point line. You got to go back to what works, which is scoring in the paint.
On cue. Zingaro couldn't get the roll. I tell you, number 45, Odlin, has been setting screens and working the board. She just did a clear out there for Olivia Nelson.
She's just got that first step to the basket and that knack to getting to the rim. You can see her just fired up.
Matt Koenig will try to open it up, but one and done again for the Lady Grizz. And if there is a story to be told so far, it is the lack of offensive rebounding for Montana.
It's been a glaring stat, Tracy, in this game.
Good give and go. Nelson thought about it. 2 more substitutions for Montana. McClimate called, checks back in. She's been a good, steady offensive infusion. Danny Barsh back in as well.
Montana looking for some much needed motion offense, and it's a nice idea by Matt Koenig, but just not able to finish.
Idaho ready to pounce. Nelson, off-balance shot. A big rebound again by Idaho as they continue to work the boards. Schweitzer, fantastic job with Odland. That's Odland.
Just a nice take, finish with the left.
The graduate student from Augustana, amazing.
Good isolation by Idaho, giving her space to claim that post presence down low.
Pushing underneath, Idaho going to get whistled for the foul. And a Pinheiro gets whistled as she's pushing a little bit too much underneath. McClimate call on the receiving end of that. 2 more substitutions for Nate Harris. Avery Waddington back in for Idaho. Anna Beatriz Passos in.
Montana's relied on finding that hot hand.
Waddington's trying to go one-on-one with the kick out. And Nelson there with the rebound. She is like a quarterback with that arm. Fantastic, but just out of the hands. And there is the steady Eddie Matt Koenig.
Just a nice finish for Matt Koenig. You know, she played the previous 7 games with a splint to protect that broken finger on that shooting hand. Koenig earned Big Sky Player of the Week honors this last Tuesday. In 3 games, she shot 17 for 26 and 5 for 6 from the 3-point line.
McClimate call, making it a 2-point ball game. Nelson just saves it. She's got 18 to get into that offense. 18 seconds now. Looks over at Arthur Marrera. She's going to take it herself. And now it's Montana working the boards as they're quick to get in their offense. They tie Koenig up. And it looks like it's going to be called a reaching foul.
Just Idaho bodies swarming here. Just a little bit of that reach by Hausman.
Ashlyn Wallace is going to be whistled, number 4 for the foul, as Koenig, a 69% free throw shooter on the line. She was a former Big Sky Freshman of the Year back in the day. We got a tie ball game. A minute to go in this first half. We got a great one here in the second game of the quarterfinals. Idaho and Montana. Nelson again, she is double teamed. But they're going to call an offensive foul on Nelson.
Just great defense by Danny Barch. That's been a signature for her. We're going to take a look right here. Danny Barch coming across for the help. Torso to torso. Takes the charge for her team. A defensive leader for this Lady Grizz.
Second personal foul puts Nelson on the bench, so this final 43 seconds will be without Nelson. Let's see if Montana can go to work, and they do. It's Matt Koenig. They're going right back to points in the paint, Krista. You said they needed to revert to that, and they are. It's getting it done.
And that's why they have the lead right now. I think they needed a reset. Coach Harris said, hey, get to the rim. If we're not making threes, let's attack the paint.
Hope Hassman looking for a screen. Hassman draws contact. Now she'll go to the line. It's almost like both teams have each other's playbook. They're both trying to go to paint. They're both trying to hit outside. And they're both working the boards. A lot of similarities, even though we've got a 3 and a 6 seed.
Yeah, there's no secrets at this point in terms of scouts. Everyone knows everyone, and although these teams didn't see each other in February, a lot of basketball has been played. And these two teams, with conflicting styles, Idaho started more as a strong defensive team in the first half of conference play. They hit some stumbling in the second half, where the Lady Grizz found some offense in the last 2 or 3 games to put together a little bit of a win streak.
Good luck!
Just a fantastic cut by Avery Waddington. Statement at the end of the half. Just the play of Matt Koenig with her finishing around the basket has been the difference for this Montana team. Breaking down the defenders, going up strong but finishing soft. 15 first half points for Matt Koenig. When you look at the other side, it's number 1, Olivia Nelson. Again, a battle of the point guards, just finding her way downhill into the rain, but also showing her range. She finished with 9 first half points.
You know, when you look at the cold shooting of the Lady Grizz at 7%, that's 1 of 13, but then their points in the paint are 22. Don't you continue to try and pound it in the paint? And for Idaho, don't you do much of the same thing?
Well, I don't think that that is Coach Harris's game plan, because they just continue to shoot. And you heard him talk to Megan going into the half that he feels optimistic that they'll make their next 10. So they are going to continue to fire. I think for them, it'll also be just second chance opportunities. And it's hard to anticipate the rebounding at times when you fire those threes.
You can see how these two teams went to overtime for both of their games. It has just been neck and neck, and an amazing kind of back and forth where these two teams have played each other so hard in January, where Idaho went 2-0, and they just left Montana flat and shooting, and Montana has changed their game plan behind Nate Harris and said, we're going to come out and we're going to shoot and we're going to go ahead and just explode the offense, and they go right to work inside the paint. And here comes Idaho. That's the run, and they wanted to get their team on the run. Jennifer Odlin finishes.
That transition defense for Montana has been an Achilles heel for them. And if you are Idaho, you want to take it right at them. Jennifer Odlin, the 6'1" graduate student who came via Augustana University.
She runs the floor so well. She's made it a 1-point swing right out of the gate.
She's been a key piece for first-year coach Arthur Marrera.
Well, there they are, as you mentioned. Hope Springs Eternal, Danny Barch off, but she gets her own miss and gets the make. Well, we talked how the Lady Grizz needed rebounding. Danny Barch has got to be center to that, as she is their big rebounding force. Over optimistic for Idaho, trying to pass over top. An early substitution for Arthur Marrero.
That's where you see the high basketball IQ that Nate Harris was talking about with Danny Barch, just that anticipation and that long length of knowing where the ball is going to come off. And Montana just needs more of that, or they need more makes from behind the three-point line. But they got the 1-point lead, so they're doing something right.
Here's the great ball distribution. Long carom, and the rebound, Idaho.
A couple costly turnovers for Idaho. Just good defensive pressure by the Lady Grizz.
Arthur Marrero, just the eternal optimist. We talked to him last night, and he was saying how fantastic it was to have the opportunity to take over this team. He said one day Carrie Amy was gone, the next day he was being asked to take over the team, and he said, of course I will. And he's got him at number 3 seed, and the Lady Grizz get their own miss.
Right there, just aggressive play by Climate Call.
Danny Barch. Nelson with the rebound. She loves to push tempo. Nelson the kick out. And now it's Barsh who has really stepped up the rebounding to change the tide.
She's been that X factor on the boards all season. In fact, her whole career for the Lady Grizz.
I feel like we say her name every year as integral to the Lady Grizz rebounding. Climate Hall again gets her own miss, and she'll get some opportunities at the line. Great tenacity by Tyler McClimate Call.
This is a Lady Grizz team, Tracy, that played Montana State to 1 in Dahlberg Arena. They've certainly had their moments where they have looked like the best team in the conference. They haven't been able to string it together for consecutive games. They ended on a loss at Eastern Washington, but they had that little streak of a 2-game winning streak where they beat Sac State and Portland State. We saw Sac State in this tournament. That's not an easy win against Sac, and they actually swept them this year, beating them in Sacramento and in Dahlberg Arena.
37-34, the winner will go on and play Northern Arizona University. Their coaching staff sitting right behind Krista and I as they watch on what is sure to be a track meet when you take on the Lumberjacks.
NAU swept the Lady Grizz twice in the regular season.
Nelson with the runner. The product out of Central Missouri, University of Central Missouri, where she was just a standout on the Division II level and is translating it into D1. Danny Barsh.
And you see smiles from Danny Barch. Time out. Just great offense for Montana.
The Lady Grizz going long ball. Half of our semifinal bracket set. Montana State set to take on Idaho State. Winners earlier today. Northern Arizona awaits the winner of Idaho, Montana. And again, that Idaho State, an upset. They beat Weber State, the higher seed. Could we have another upset here in the quarterfinals? As Montana leads Idaho, the 6th seed leads the 3 seed by 4. Olivia Nelson, strong to the hole. You can really see how Montana has started to work the glass more in this second half. We're seeing 3 jerseys for the Lady Grizz crash the boards.
Climate Call doing a really good job anticipating.
Jump ball situation, possession arrow, Montana. One of the things that Arthur Marrera told us is we can't let Matt Koenig beat us because she can.
It's really good high-low action there between Barch and Waddington. Not able to finish, but you like to see that diversity for their offense.
Nelson trying to get something going, a 2-person game on the perimeter, as great job by the Lady Grizz on the defensive end. The runner gets the roll for Hope Hassman.
Just a quick step to the basket and lack of help by Montana.
Koenig and Barsh. Great passing by Montana, but there is that one and done that they fell into as McClimate Call off the mark.
Good no foul by the Lady Grizz.
Both teams going a little cool as they try to find their rhythm. Matt Koenig will get some opportunities at the line. You've watched her throughout her career. She seems to be extremely confident in leading this team when they need a bucket.
Well, she certainly played a lot of minutes for this Lady Grizz team, and if you take a look at her last game against Eastern Washington, she had 11 assists and 16 points. The game before that, in the win against Portland State, 17 and 7 assists. And so you look at the way she's scoring and also passing the ball. And that has been a stat to me that shows her maturity as a player when she can involve others in the offense and make them better.
She's been double-figure scoring the last 3 games. She's in double figures today with 16. And slowly the Lady Grizz are trying to put some distance between them and the Vandals. And a pushing foul underneath.
Welcome back to Idaho Central Arena, where the Lady Grizz owning the 4-point advantage behind a spread offensive team. But Danny Barch, 5 points in this 3rd quarter. Big 3 and a nice take to the basket. The Lady Grizz getting offense from Matt Koenig, Climate Call, Avery Waddington, and Danny Barch.
And they're going to continue to get it offensively from Climate Call.
She's having herself a game. She's got 13 boards and 10 points. Certainly the difference maker on the glass for this Montana team in the 2nd half.
And Idaho gets the roll there. That's Hope Hassman. Hassman has just been one of the leaders in scoring for Idaho. Odlin and Nelson joining her in double figures. Lady Grizz trying to work more in the paint. They have really worked to get it from 5 feet and in, coming out of the break. Idaho strong to the hole.
Just a good decision to no foul there. Seems like Climate Call has had her hands on the ball on both sides.
Pinheiro guarding the Climate Call. Nice shot. Big rebounds. Odlin trying to push. Odlin and Nelson. Nelson going baseline. Nelson. Nelson gets her own rebound but stripped. Climate Call right now is everywhere. Macy Donarski, the redshirt freshman, running point for Montana.
Montana liking that 5-out offense, but Idaho keying a little bit on Avery Waddington. You'll notice the double team coming across, not letting her just have her way. Coach Arthur Marrera made some 1st half adjustments.
Donarski back out, Koenig back in, so Nate Harris gave Koenig that bit of a breather. You could probably note with the offensive laps, they need her back in. She's their leading scorer with 17. Meanwhile, Nelson trying to solve this feisty Montana defense. It's a team they beat twice in the regular season, and they beat them handily. Long 3-pointer off the mark for Hope Hassman, the sophomore, Cal State Fullerton transfer. Great ball rotation. Danny Barch.
A lot going right for Montana right now as they find the hot hand in Danny Barch, but that play started with Matt Koenig and great anticipation.
And last few times down the floor, Nelson has just not had any luck as she tries to play defense on a great long ball shot by MJ Bruno.
And the Lady Grizz are feeling it. And this is what the Big Sky has seen this year, is this Montana team has the ability to get really hot. And you want to see it if you're the Lady Grizz in Boise.
Well, Nate Harris said, we're gonna make it in the 2nd half. He wasn't wrong.
Shoot or shoot. That's definitely what Nate Harris has delivered for his message.
But you see the glue here in Boise? It's the Barch-Koenig combination. We've seen it for so long.
Danny Barch just so strong. And then an MJ Bruno dagger. We'll see if this offensive momentum can carry this Lady Grizz team on the defensive end. So far, they have made it difficult for Idaho to find any type of rhythm.
Idaho has gone quiet. This is a team that averages over 66 points a game and cannot find their offense right now. Hassman has gone a bit cold with a 10-point Lady Grizz lead.
And this is what worried Coach Morera. He gave so much credit to this Lady Grizz team, saying, hey, I picked them third. And when I look at the players on their team individually, they've got some hoopers.
There's one, Danny Barch.
And Danny Barch, she does not want to make this her last game for the Lady Grizz.
The way she's shooting, I'm not sure it will be. Idaho trying to find some offense. And now the Lady Grizz have really started to crash the boards.
This Montana team gets a lot of their energy from making shots.
Lady Grizz out rebounding Idaho by 1 after they were having trouble crashing the boards. It has been a difference maker. Block shot by Danny Barsh, who is working both ends of the floor. Matt Koenig will slow it down now for a final shot. Barch tried to set the screen, a misplay. Can they make something out of a broken play? And that's gonna do it. But the Lady Grizz have come alive, extending their lead to 13 at the end of 3, 53-40.
Welcome back to Idaho Central Arena, where it has been all Lady Grizz, thanks to the play of Danny Barch in the second half. MJ Bruno with the corner 3, but again, you're gonna see Barch finding her range. She had 1 point at halftime. She's had 11 points in this run for the Lady Grizz in the third quarter.
Barch, Koenig, McClymont Hall, and Waddington all above their scoring average for this game in the quarterfinals.
Waddington was really hot in the first part of the game when Montana needed that offense. Matt Koenig's been steady through the whole game, but the play of Climate Call and Danny Barch in the third quarter has been the difference maker.
And for Idaho, they're still trying to refine their offense. They have not been able to find those buckets or get those rolls. And there's Danny Barch again working the glass.
Just all the momentum in Montana's favor. This is a team that when they get hot, they're really difficult to beat.
Travel, well, reach in before the travel. That's going to go against Waddington. Olivia Nelson back in.
Ana Beatrice Passos. Just a quick first step to the basket. A fellow Brazilian, Coach Arthur Moreira, the first Brazilian head D1 coach in the US. He has a real knack for the international recruiting.
He said he was a recruiting coordinator when he was at the University of San Francisco, so he's learned a lot about the pipeline and going overseas. He was the associate head coach last year with Carrie Amy, stepped up and has really elevated the program. Great passing by the Lady Grizz. They're finding their shot, and that is Matt Koenig.
They can't do wrong from behind the three-point line. multiple hot hands, and just you see the added intensity that they get on the defensive end for making shots.
Koenig has doubled her scoring average in this game. This is a fighter that comes to the table when it is tournament time, along with Danny Barch. We've seen it before, and you know why. She is always on some type of all Big Sky type of award team.
And last year, the Lady Grizz were the number 3 seed, and Idaho was the number 6, and Montana prevailed. That was a worry for Coach Marrera.
What was a 2-point halftime lead is now a 16-point lead with under 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The Lady Grizz have just dominated this second half and continue to put up the shots and connect. Avery Waddington.
Wow. This is a shooting clinic, exactly what Coach Harris talked about at halftime.
When they're hot, and the Lady Grizz are hot.
At this point, Montana can use the clock, use the shot clock, but you gotta find a balance because you don't wanna take your foot off the gas and change your style of play.
Rebound, Waddington, 37% from the field. That's what the Lady Grizz are hitting right now.
Well, the narrative is shifted because when we came out of the halftime, we talked about their 7% from the three-point line shooting percentage, and they've certainly turned that around.
And they are maintaining possession. Time of possession for the Lady Grizz has been a part of their key. Barsh. They'll reset the offense with 8 on the shot clock. Waddington up and under. Right idea. So many teams have already clinched a berth to the NCAA tournament. South Carolina out of the SEC. Mark Campbell coaching TCU, which won the Big 12. UCLA winning the Big 10, upending USC. And who knows who's going to take the Big Sky tournament title to get that automatic bid. More time. Waddington. She had a really good look. Right now, Idaho not coming out to defend the 3, giving the Lady Grizz a lot of good looks. Krista, have you seen a concerted effort by the Lady Grizz just to work the boards? They seem to really, we saw 3 crimson jerseys there.
This is a Montana team that finds that intensity when they make shots, and they seem to then make the stops they need, get the extra added rebounds. Where they've struggled this year is when they're not making shots, they have a tendency to be on their heels on the defensive end. There's been times this season where this Lady Grizz team has looked unstoppable. If you look at non-conference, they beat Washington 82-68 in Dahlberg Arena, which was a fantastic win. They've had moments where they have really looked like a fantastic offensive team.
Idaho trying to work their way back, and every time they go to the bucket, there's a Lady Grizz in their face. Donarski right off her fingertips.
And if you're Montana, you don't need to make that pass. That's the one thing that you can settle and read the game and understand that you have the lead and you don't have to push.
Idaho. Got to try and find their offense as a pushing foul away from the ball. The 4th best offense is being handled by the Lady Grizz. 6:03 left in the ball game. Will we have our second upset today here in the quarterfinals? Olivia Nelson has been quiet. Nelson, spin move, boy, that is just picture perfect.
Much needed offense for Idaho. is they've got to try to tighten this gap by playing some lockdown defense. Continue to try to force Montana to take off-balance shots.
And Nelson whistled. She's got to be careful with fouls because Nelson now picks up her 4th personal foul. Danny Barsh checks out for Montana. They are really careful about her minutes. And if you've got Northern Arizona in the wings, if you win, you want to make sure you have arrested Danny Barch. Montana would have to win 3 consecutive games to take home the title. That after going 2 for 5 in the last 7 games, including a 4-game losing streak. Hey, this team knows how to get hot at the right time.
Everything resets when you come to Boise. It's really nice that you get that first round bye if you're a 3, 4, 5, and 6, but you just don't play until Monday. You've been watching a lot of tournament action, waiting to get your moment.
And smart for Montana. They are walking it up the floor because Nelson single-handedly trying to put the team on her back for Idaho. And now Matt Koenig is going to use as much clock as possible. Back door. Oh, good look.
Here comes the surging Idaho team, and I just love the way that Ana Beatriz Pasos takes the ball to the hole. She's just a strong player. Just averaging about 12 minutes per game, but she's certainly given Idaho offense when they've needed it.
Well, Idaho needs to get a turnover here if they're gonna force a bit of offense, and they got anything but that, thanks to the sharpshooting of Avery Waddington. Nate Harris said it had to be Waddington who stepped up, and Waddington has stepped up big time. The Lady Grizz have clawed their way.
Welcome back into Idaho Central Arena. The Montana Lady Grizz with a 62-46 lead over Idaho here in our final women's game of the day. And coming up after, Megan Robinson, Carla Taylor, and myself will break it all down. So stick with us. But right now, let's send it back to Tracy and Krista.
Thanks, Kyle. We're going to take a look at some phenomenal rebounding by Tyler Climate Call. She's got 17 for the game. She came in averaging 3.5. That's the tie for the second most amount of rebounds for a Big Sky Conference tournament game for Montana. Greta Koss with 20 against Montana State back in 1997. Holly Tyler was 17 against the Bobcats in 2003. Tyler Climate Call today was 17, joining really good company with a former teammate of mine, and Holly Tyler, one of the best to wear the maroon.
Full court pressure by Idaho. And Montana just content to slow it up. They take a look over at Nate Harris, and they're going to use every second of that clock. Count it, and a foul, a last-second foul. Adria Lincoln strong to the hole.
Everything going right for Montana. They are really tough when you have this much scoring from multiple weapons. Adria Lincoln has not scored in this game today, but a really nice finish there. We got Danny Barch just fighting for the rebound. Danny with 12, Matt Koenig with 20, Tyler Climate Call with 10 points, and Avery Waddington with 17. Just multiple weapons that are producing for this Lady Grizz team when it counts.
Pinheiro checks back in for Idaho, and time is running out for the Vandals. The number 3 seed on the verge of an upset, with the Montana Lady Grizz executing their game plan as they wanted. Double team as the Lady Grizz will pass out of that. And they get their own rebound. Danny Barsh to Matt Koenig. Shot clock violation.
A nice last-ditch effort by Matt Koenig, but
you've seen Montana a lot this year, Krista.
I have, yes.
They've lost both games to Northern Arizona, but is this a different team you're seeing here in Boise?
I think when you're making shots, this Montana team looks pretty amazing, and that's what they've been able to do here. And actually, Tracy, it's when it counts. So all the trials and tribulations of this Lady Grizz team this year comes down to one game in Boise right now, and they're getting it done.
Waddington has been a difference maker with Matt Koenig, a compliment to the offense. Can they use the high-octane offense to go toe-to-toe with the Lumberjacks, who are looking to make it to their 4th consecutive championship? Sarah Bronze checks in for Idaho. Two and a half minutes. We're going to have our second upset of the quarterfinals. And this is why they call it Starch Madness.
There's just not a whole lot that has separated these teams that have finished 3 through 8 within the conference. It took all the way till the last weekend of play to determine who 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8 were. We've had a clear leader at the top in Montana State. We've got Portland State that's had some struggles. And then basically in the middle, we've had a couple teams in NAU and Idaho State, arguably 2 of the hotter teams coming in. But this Lady Grizz team proving that they deserve to be in the conversation.
Well, I'll tell you, Idaho, as hot as they were in the first and second quarter, have gone cold thanks to some really good defense by the Lady Grizz. It's been their hallmark, and they're really stepping up their game. Now, can this team behind Nate Harris go toe-to-toe with the number 2 seed in Northern Arizona, who we saw just beat Sacramento State?
And that was a tough game for them. I mean, Sac State gave them a run. And if you're Coach Payne, you're happy with your squad and that you find a way to win when things maybe aren't going your way. It's all about responding to adversity. But Coach Payne knows that as this tournament progresses, they've got to get back to their brand of basketball.
Over and back.
I mean, that was a pretty nice stride by Avery Waddington, but not enough.
Nate Harris will get the win here. What a fantastic job of motivating the Lady Grizz in an unpredictable year in Montana. The state of Montana has been a hallmark for women's basketball, both for Montana State and Montana. Nate Harris said, I know I have big shoes to fill. I know Montana's known for the sport of women's basketball, and I want to get us back there. Today, a first step as some more battle in the paint.
Pointing to the tradition of Montana, I actually wasn't correct in saying that we featured the 1995-96 team. It was actually the 94-95. Christy Langton-Schlimkin and Carla Beatty-Kameen were here to represent. That team finished 26-7. They had a win against San Diego State in the first round of the NCAA tournament and lost to Purdue. But 26-7 for this 94-95 Lady Grizz team. That was my senior year of high school. So I was really keeping a watchful eye on those Lady Grizz.
Full court pressure as Idaho, the last effort. What a great job Arthur Marrero has done in his first season, getting a 3 seed, 18 wins for this team. improving last year's win total by 3. And Montana is just going to pull it out and slow it up. It is clock management for the Lady Grizz.
It was really hard to pick a player of the game because there were so many moments for multiple weapons, but player of the game is going to go to number 5, Tyler Climate Call. She had a record afternoon with 17 boards, finished with 10 points, just came up for Montana big when they needed it. You can't say enough about Matt Koning and her play, and Danny Barch, and Avery Waddington.
Montana put together their game plan. It worked to perfection to upend the number 3 seed, who gave them a challenge. They led by only 2 at the half and extended the cushion with some interior, exterior shooting and some fantastic defense.
A complete reset at halftime for this Lady Grizz team. And you know, I talk about how they only get on this court for 20 minutes. And oftentimes when you're in neutral tournament sites, it takes a little bit of time to find your bearings with just getting familiar with the rims and the arena. And the Lady Grizz shook that dust off in the first half.
Danny Barch, high five to her team as she knows they've got this one.
Look, tournament wins are big, and they're giving themselves a chance to continue to play basketball in a really fun environment in Boise, and ultimately you're playing for that NCAA berth.
Hope Hassman. And this is going to do it. Montana, the number 6 seed, has upset the number 3 seed in the Idaho Vandals, and their high fives all around for Nate Harris. 65-54 upset winners over Idaho.
Lots of Grizz fans in attendance, cheering on both the men and the women. Lady Grizz fans are on their feet.
The Lady Grizz got warm from downtown. 35% field goal shooting, 27% from three-point land. They did a fantastic job of forcing 12 turnovers for Idaho and really coming on strong in this second half. Like you said, Krista, game of adjustments, and the Lady Grizz are acting like they've been here before.
And on the contrary, the Lady Grizz with only 5 turnovers, and that was one of the keys coming in, is taking care of that basketball, which they did a phenomenal job of doing in this game. Hats off to the Lady Grizz and this awesome win for their program.
Well, they've got some more work to do as they congratulate this first of potentially 3 steps toward a BigSky tournament championship. Who will do the honors for Montana?
Danny, you wouldn't have it any other way with your veteran senior leader, the heart and soul of this Lady Grizz basketball team.
They are advancing to the semifinals. 65-54 winners. They'll take on Northern Arizona in game 2 tomorrow. A fantastic showing and an upset win for the Montana Lady Grizz.